Hello, it's Shelley. The critical text I chose is Decolonizing Design Education, and the passage of it is the key of my study and practices. The chapter is a part of the book, Extracurricular Ornamentality, and the author Jacob argued that if we couldn't find our cultural shackle of colonial design, we won't prove that decolonizing design is justice, trustable, and advanced. Colonizing design is a new tendency which studied in Asia. Sometimes folks call them ugly design. I noticed that the cultural situation in China is different with the neighbor Japan. Japanese keep the traditional political system, their original religion, and tremendous historical relics and crafts. It might be a reason why they don't ask for equality in cultural aesthetics. For instance, there's an argument that Westerners could not totally understand wabi and sabi. On the contrast, Chinese culture might be losing its status and honor after defining by Western theories and aesthetics. New typefaces in China seems are oversimplified. It is ironic that it should be used for titles but not text. But today you can see them everywhere in China. The style was created by a Microsoft company, and it was used for the original default Chinese language in their computer system. As you know, they use non-serif typefaces for other languages, so they created the first non-serif Chinese typefaces, even though Chinese call it black letter. After finding the problem I wish to discuss, I wrote different characters which come from Latin languages, Chinese, Mongolian, Tibetan, etc. I use a traditional Chinese fur pen and papers, try to find out what's the real obstacle for Chinese characters that they cannot be written like Latin alphabets. As an outcome of that, I made a table to compare Chinese writing tools in different ages, and the solution is obvious. Writing tools must be as cheaper as possible. Therefore, Chinese create fur pen and straw papers. Because the media turns soft, the shape of Chinese characters has a totally different aesthetic system, which was deeply infected by the natural shape of spreading inks. When the Chinese character is just written, the floating ink of it is irregular, and the shape of each part of it are also decided by the power of pressing the fur pen. Chinese art masters worked hard on it and paid thousands of years to make it perfect. There's an aesthetic which already exists, isn't it? We cannot find any relation of it from a black letter Chinese typeface, because their shapes are totally cut to cubes and lines. To visualize the phenomenon, I remove it to 3D models, and I think it's necessary. If we search any 3D models of Chinese characters in Behance or Pinterest, they are always big cubes as those models made from Latin characters. If they are totally different in handwriting, why they can have a totally same style in 3D? I try to express the writing skill of Chinese and the dimensions of inks. Thus, the third dimensionality of my model shows the shape of floating inks of the character and the primitive ink which is pressed by the fur pen. After that, I try to make a short film from them and create some posters. I filmed some clips about the Chinese brands from real Chinese streets and compared their functions and styles. Because the project time is limited, I cannot arrange some interviews for deeper storytelling, but I think the shackle of the colonial design in my study is well illustrated.